Alright, hi everyone. 6 months in the making, I know. But I wanted to talk about the WTF or the what the fuck years for ISTPs. Never really seen a YouTube video on it, and I had the time, so I'm just going ahead and make one. My face is very oily right now, I understand, and there's some white noise coming from a fan, and that's because my room is a sauna right now. So please bear with me with that. Almost not loopy, but I'm a little tired. So yeah, just bear with me. So I'll just get right into it. As what the fuck years, an ISTP describes the years in which he was walking through life aimlessly, mostly being perplexed by other people's behavior and his own lack of motivation. Hold up. What the fuck years is basically the terminology for the dominant tertiary loop that ISTPs have, which is going to be introverted thinking and introverted intuition, if you're not following. So yeah, walking through life aimlessly, mostly being perplexed by other people's behavior and his own lack of motivation. Yeah, so in school I never really tried. I had very little constructive social hobbies. In fact, I had really no social hobbies to speak of, really. I mainly read and I played video games, and I occasionally did like hard labor chores. Beyond that, I never really had any social groups when I was in elementary school or really even middle school. Apart from academic team for a little bit. Let's see. I've mostly been perplexed by other people's behavior. When I was really young, I didn't really understand social cues, and so that really put a dent in making friends and socializing and stuff like that. Let's see what else. Never cared about appearance. Yeah. It was really up until high school that I started to give a damn about what I looked like. Beforehand, I would kind of just wear anything that fit. No, Apple, get out of the way. It got so bad that at one point in middle school, I had what you would almost call a bowl cut mullet. When I really think about it, it's almost kind of like a Post Malone look, really, except a lot more thick. Yeah, it was about as sexy as you can think. I also about failed college too. My first semester, I had a 1.75, and it wasn't necessarily because I didn't want to try. It was just, or not that I didn't have the ability to get higher, but I just didn't really try. Never really seen the point in a lot of the work that I did. And I think a large part of that was my major, because my major, or one of my majors, was journalism, and I just ended up not liking that at all. And then I switched to a minor in GIS, and my other major, political science, I've still kept. And I've gotten a lot better too. Got on the dean's list last semester, and I might get on it this semester as well. There's one that I might get a C in. But yeah, so really kind of the main thing I struggled with throughout my entire life is really apathy. Never really seeing the point in a lot of things. I've gotten a whole lot better since probably the beginning of college. But sometimes I still find it hard to kind of realize the point in everything. Well, no, that sounds a little too nihilistic. That's not necessarily true. I'm always skeptical if a lot of the things that I'm kind of forced to do and not what I want to do is really worth it. And sometimes it turns out it is, and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just read the next thing. So dominant tertiary loop is a state in which our TI and our NI team up, practically disabling our most important information intake function, extroverted sensing, SE. In this state, the ISTP overanalyzes and rationalizes to unhealthy degrees, denying himself to outwardly physical appearances, we talked about that previously, thus preventing him from expanding his horizon. I was hardly physical as a kid. I was pretty clumsy. I was a pretty smart kid, but at the same time I was very broody. Let's see. I always got paralyzed about overthinking. What I guess I can describe as like the meaning of things. And so I kind of wanted to distinguish this from the INTP, who is the other TI dominant type, but they have NE instead of SE, and SI instead of NI. And so how I like to think of it is that both get paralyzed from overanalysis, is from what I gathered, but INTP overanalyzes through, theoretical scenarios. So say they're in a social situation and they're thinking about all the different ways that a scenario can go up, or the social setting can go about. So like, oh, but what if this happens? What if that happens? If I do this, will this lead to this? Etc., etc., etc. With me, as an ISTP, it's a little bit more about the meanings, and so it's more kind of like, is this what's really going on? Is what they're saying really this? Is this a signal that they're giving me? Things like this. So yeah, a little different. Go on to the next one. Breaking the loop and state of being is fairly easy, however, as the ISTP has only to appeal to the bypass function in question. Extroverted sensation is a function that pulls an ISTP into the here and now, and most importantly, out of his head. Ended up trying sports in high school at the latter end of it. And I always really liked them, even though I wasn't very good at them. Started off with soccer my sophomore year, and I liked it. I wasn't necessarily the best. Our team was absolutely horrible, but still though, I enjoyed it. Track I did next, which was also sophomore year, and I ran the 800, and it ended up getting second place at my regional track meet for the 800. So yeah, I think my top score, or my fastest time, was about a 2:02. That's about right, a 2:02. It can definitely not run that now, but I really enjoyed it. I also did cross country, which I enjoyed it, but at the same time it was so exhausting. And if you know anything about track versus cross country, track is handled a little bit more casually, mainly because a lot of track players are from other sports, and cross country students as well. With cross country, they're so dedicated and so hardcore. I remember in track, I would when I was like really exhausted and I was really tired and hot, and I had a good run, I would actually go to the nearest place that had a large iced coffee, and I would drink that to cool down and like perk myself up at the same time. And it was really genius, I thought. But when I did that with cross country, they didn't really like that because they saw that as being unhealthy and like, oh, that's just a bunch of garbage you're putting in your system, and didn't really like that too much. but I got exhausted with it, so I quit. Um, let's see. I also tend to enjoy a lot of hard labor. My dad is a carpenter. My stepdad's a carpenter. He's not a carpenter per se. He's just a handyman. But I almost really enjoy that more than schoolwork, honestly. Really, I almost get energized by being tired, like doing things that make me tired. So if that's going to some social event, which I rarely do, um, even today, but when I do, and it's like a very high energy event, I think I just pick up on kind of the intensity of it. And then when I'm out of the event, I still kind of want to go at it, or I still want to do things just because I'm kind of like, I'm really perked up, and I kind of just want to go at it. Same thing with work. Same thing with I've been working out recently, and that energizes me a whole lot. I know that's kind of almost like a paradox, kind of getting energized by things that make me tired, but it works for me. So, and even if I have nothing else to do, I usually just walk, because I just can't stand just not doing anything at all and just moping around and doing nothing. So yeah, let's go to the next one. Once the rut is broken, the ISTP, however, finds himself in another displeasing situation. The situation, more often than not, is complete solitude while being completely deprived of social peers. Yeah, I would say I'm kind of in the twilight of this. This was definitely true of me early on. Never had anyone like a close friend. I've never really had someone that I talk through constantly, day and night. And early on that definitely affected me a whole lot. I was definitely a loner. Later on though, I've kind of learned to become my own best friend, so it's kind of fine. Yeah, so I'm starting to get involved in more social groups now, things that interest me. I've been getting involved in student government too, for my college, and a lot of good people there, but at the same time they kind of have a stick up their ass, and they want to stroke their own ego, which then again, I probably need to stick up my ass myself, so it works both ways, I guess. So even though I am my own best friend, I still kind of have like these depressive episodes every now and then, especially if I'm like just really exhausted, where I'll kind of just be like alone in my dorm room right here, and I'll just kind of like, again, I guess I'll just have like a bit of a depressive moment every now and then. And the thing is usually people kind of have some sort of support system to kind of fall back on when they kind of get in those moments, so they have like a friend to talk to or something like that, or they do drugs or alcohol or anything like that. I don't have either of that, and I'm also a pretty clean person. I don't drink or do drugs or anything like that, so I kind of just take things into the void, which is fine. I think that's a large reason why I am kind of my own best friend, is because I've done a lot of introspection. And I'm also a very happy person anyways, so I'm not like a depressed person at all, but still though, even the happiest people get a little sad every now and then. Once the ISTP obtain a clear direction, everything will sort itself out for as long as he won't stray from his path. In that sense, time works in favor of the ISTP, and last but not least, ISTPs are known for late bloomers when it comes to socializing. Remarked on that last bit earlier. I've kind of learned to trust time. A lot of people say that time is kind of your enemy. I kind of see it as my friend. I've kind of developed this sense where as long as like you do what you need to do and you do things the way that you want them to do, that everything tends to end out be pretty fine. At the very least, you can put yourself in a situation that will make yourself fine. Let's see here. I know a lot of people say if their plans are ruined, they get very neurotic, and that's definitely not me. If I don't have a plan A, I'll make a plan B, I'll make a plan C. I don't necessarily have them structured, but typically, whatever happens, I tend to just go with it and make the best of it. So yeah, that's all I had for my notes that I put on here. If you all want to have like any other videos or any other requests, feel free to do whatever you want, or do any request that you want. I'm also open to doing like type interviews, so like interviewing different types. And I know quite a few, or at least one from each, I think, except for some certain cases. So if you have a request for that, I can try to set that up as well. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully, if I have another topic that I want to make a video on, hopefully it's sooner than 6 months from now. But yeah, that's I think that's all I had. So guess see you all soon. Yeah, see ya.